What's going on, everybody? What's the Super Robot Ed? And today we have in front of you the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Deluxe Class Waspinator. And Waspinator is a nice looking figure. I have to give him credit for that. He does match the colors of the anime pretty good. But before we get into that, let's look at the contents of the box here. Of course, we get the Waspinator box. And yeah, the artwork looks pretty nice, very close to the original Beast Wars animation colors, which we're going to talk about in this video. On the back we have here, which is 20 steps to transform him. I do not count these things, I'm sorry. I just transform it. Yeah, looks good. From the side, of course, there's the golden disc there. And yeah, that's the box. I'm gonna push. Actually, I want to keep that on cue. I like the box. And then I didn't get the black arachnia, but here are the instructions, which, oh my goodness, I mashed up the paper by accident when I was putting the inserts back in, and of course it's in green. And I got the Megatron card, which I wasn't too happy about that, because I wanted the other one. It's nothing special about it, it's just Megatron, you know. And I think when you lift it up, he's from the back or something. Like you see it, literally he's showing his back. I mean, I can't, oh, where's the little lift up tab thing? There it is. I don't like these things. Like, I'm sure they're cheating us out of something, and I'm sure you can, you know, like a trading game or something like that, but it's Megatron, you know. City is mine. Alright, enough's enough. Let's talk about Waspinator. So this is Waspinator, and highly controversial figure. Not controversial, just in hand he does feel not as, I don't know, War for Cybertron trilogy like. Little, like, not premium and stuff like that. But I have to admit, the colors are right. So a lot of people have been talking about, you know, the Generations version, which I won't say it's superior. No, it's not superior. It has its, you know, caveats, but it's not superior. But the colors, the purple, the green, the forest green with the kind of darker other shade of green here, it works. And of course the tail, it works as well. The underside, you could pretty clearly see the legs there, and the legs are brown. There's the head, and then the cool thing about the head is it does have articulation in the head. You can move the mandibles, so you know, let's keep that in mind. That's pretty cool. That's something that the Generations version could not do. The wings are that not translucent enough, but they are the correct color. But it's hard to see in the original cartoon. It was kind of like a palish purple. They do articulate on their own, and that's something that the Generations version does not do. And let's see the back here on the thorax. You can see there. I mean, it's pretty decent overall. You know, I like him, but you know, he's not the. He is the star of the show. This show, we are going to do some comparisons. And let me get the trusty Westcott ruler and measure him in beast mode. He is approximately about 4 and about almost 4.5 inches. Not quite, but very close. Let's see if we left anything out. The legs, they do move. The legs here are a little tough, but you can get some nice little, you can get some poses. I mean, believe it or not, because you can rotate the legs. And that's something else that you can kind of get a, you know, forewarned. He does come apart. Now we're gonna bring in the Generations version, and this is the Generations version, and of course, he was a lighter shade of green. If you were lucky enough to get the Legends version from Takara, then of course you got the darker shade of green, which it's a very dark green. It's not anime accurate, but it has the correct details. And of course the gimmick with this one was he had the clear wings, which in the light do have a bit, can reflect a bit of like a light kind of a purplish thing, but it's still clear. It would have been nice if they were purple. But you can do the the flippy action. Yay, look at me, But unfortunately the wings don't articulate well, of course, when you get the robot mode. It doesn't have pulsable legs, they are static. Beast mode, I gotta side with this guy. And I want to see if he's a little longer. They're about the same size though. They're about the same size. I think we had him about 4.5 from thorax to tail. Yeah, he's about 4 3/4 of an inch. So he's a little longer, but not by much. But yeah, they are both, in my opinion, it's hard to say. It's tough because I like the plastic on this, because it's that, older, coming out of the Chug line, and this one still does feel a bit. Does feel a bit on the cheap side, and the looks don't lie. This isn't as refined as this. If this had this plastic, in a sense, this would actually look like a much better toy. And I think that's the problem, is the plastics that they use. But other than that, they both do their thing. It's very hard for me to say which one is better. But if I had a choice, I'd say this one, just for the sake of accuracy. Now we're gonna stop playing with this one, and then we're gonna go ahead and go into transformation and 2 and 2. All right, we're back. Transformation's completed. Everything's folded out. And here we have Waspinator in his robot mode. Now, right off the bat, I want to say the colors are correct. The problem is this plastic is cheap. It is. And it looked cheap in the early pictures. It is cheap. Now, I've been listening to a lot of reviewers, and they've been going through this. I feel like they're not touching on that. Yes, well painted. Yes, it has a nice head sculpt, but it feels cheap. And yes, it doesn't feel like a lot of the Beast Wars figures. I don't know. These, you could tell, like, you can see it right there. It's got a lot of that flash, and it's got a lot of flash. It's just a very cheap feeling figure. Now let's go into the articulation and move my fat fingers out the way. Arm does do a 360, so if you fold the wings down, all the way down, you can do that. These do turn, so if you want them to turn and move out the way, you can do that. The head does a 360, can look up and down, side to side, so he's got a chicken head. Articulation, the feet, the leg does go out to here, can kick out. You know, you can position these however you want. I prefer to turn them up. If you move this out the way, he's going to go about right here. That's about as far as he's going to go to the back, and that's due to the you know, the back of the figure. What else? The wings articulate enough so he can have the up wings, which is cool. He has an elbow joint here naturally, and he has feet pivot, so you can see that there, and he has waist swivel. He can do the 360, but you're gonna unlock the figure, and so it's, you know. Then from the side, I think what I don't like, as you can see, it's on that, it's cheap. It's cheap feeling. I don't care what you say. Hasbro's not going to give you free toys, so let's just be honest. It does not feel good. But it's not fragile. It just feels like a cheaper toy, and it does. It feels like they skipped out on materials, and that's a problem when you compare it to the 2013. But that head sculpt is damn spot on. So, you know, that's something to think about. And let's see here. I want to do just some size comparisons with some of the Beast Wars toys that I brought in today. I'm sorry I didn't bring like Megatron or okay, edit point. This is where you can see like some size comparisons. Like Cheetor is, you know, a little taller than him. There's Airazor, who's also standing a little taller than him. And just to bring him to the forefront, if you haven't seen him, here is Scorponok with the leg enhancements, and he's, you know, which again makes more sense, you know, as far as height and everything. And then of course here is Rat Trap, just to see, you know, where he stands with him and everything. And then here's Primal. Okay, so you can see he's like, you know, he's about the right height. Measurement time, and he is about a little under 5 inches from the head, about 4 3/4, and with the wings standing up, he's about 6.5 inches. So if you want him to have his wings up like this would be fine. Now the difference is this guy. And now while this guy lacks the waist swivel and feet swivel and the purple, like I said, the stand up on this thing today. Lord, I can get through. I gotta flatten this out one day, because when you don't have like the feet to hold him in place, a lot of the older figures will fall down on this surface, and because it's a very slippery surface here, so trying my best not to make this fall. But as you can see, if you had the Takara version, his head sculpt would have the same paint effects as the Kingdom Waspinator, and you can see that there. But he does have light piping, so that's pretty cool. But minus the waist swivel and the feet swivel, the plastic quality on this 2013-2014 figure is much better. It's much more molded. The colors pop. The robot mode, minus those features, in a way makes him look a little more grittier, more tougher. This looks like a transforming toy, and this looks like a toy, and that's the problem. That's where I don't care if you give me the perfect look. Give me, you know, this. You gotta remember what Chug was. Chug was the interpretation of what the OG figures would look like. And with the generations, we were getting closer to probably where we are now with War for Cybertron. But the thing to remember is that this was still an interpretation. This does do it justice, but it's a better figure, even though it's lacking when I say lacking articulation, it still has the same, the arm does a 360, okay? It has an elbow. The head, let's see what I'm talking about, my Surface today. The head goes up and down, moves side to side. He does have the same leg articulation, but it's going to be hindered by that part right there, so the leg kind of goes out, and it does go to the back. And even, I don't know why everybody's saying this articulation is like super. Waspinator can't kick his leg all the way back like that. Only thing the Kingdom Waspinator has is waist swivel and feet swivel. That is it. Other than that, this is more streamlined and much nicer. It's just the wings can't really, stay out because of the flapping mechanism. But you can kind of, and be careful with that. That's the only thing I hate about that. I would be careful with that. But I mean, you could kind of get away with it. If you want, if you kind of just, put them behind the feet, you can kind of get that. Or if you twist it, turn it this way, you can kind of get the OG Waspinator look and kind of have him rest on the arm, the insect kibble. The insect kibble is better, in my opinion. Like I say, it's just this surface is nothing stands on this surface. That's the biggest problem with this surface. It's the surface, trust me, it stands up. And that's really... One more thing I wanted to do was do a quick measurement of the Generations Waspinator. And he comes in right at 5 inches. Right at 5, just barely making it. And with the wings kind of positioned up, you can kind of get him at about 7.5 inches tall. Okay. So, final thoughts. It's a decent figure for getting Waspinator if you don't have a modern version of Waspinator. As of right now, the price for Generations Waspinator is about in box about $40-50, and I was hoping to be able to maybe sell it. 60 is tops, and the price has not come down. And of course, Waspinator itself for the Kingdom line is going to be sought after because it's Waspinator. It's a fun character, one of the funny characters in the show. He was possessed by Starscream. There's so much that this character has gone through from Beast Wars all the way going into Beast Machines. He's got a lot of lore, a lot of repaints done in the various versions of him, from his original iconic Beast Wars all the way up into, we're probably going to get repaints of him in Kingdom eventually. Overall, I like the color. The colors work. But it's the plastic quality that suffers here. It looked like it looked cheap, and it's cheap. Just it is, You can rant and rave, you can tell me I'm wrong, don't really care. I'm gonna tell you. That's why I don't like the figure. I like the figure, the transformation, the extra points of articulation of the waist swivel and the feet swivel. Modernization, yes. But like even the weapon, it's it's cheap. It's just cheap, and I'm sick of it. Like Waspinator, if you stand him on the shelf, he's fine. He's good. When you pick him up, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's another one of those. I'm not sure. I'll leave it up to you to make your decisions, because as a collector, you need to make that decision. I bought him because curiosity killed the cat, and I was right. But as far as fitting in your line with your toys, it's subjective. It's one of those things where you have to make that decision on your own. you know, and that's it. Other than that, though, it has the articulation. It's still not as articulated as people are claiming it is, because you got this thing here in the back that's going to block and hinder a lot of articulation. So no, it's not super articulated. A lot of reviewers have been, oh my god, he's great, and he's not. And we need to let Hasbro know that, because you compare this to the quality of other figures, and it's almost like Trax, where Trax kind of got that, but this is not as bad. Even Rat Trap is better. And that's it. Other than that, go out and get him, because he's going to be sought after. It's the last wave, him and Shadow Panther. I might pick up Shadow Panther if Larkin Lair does the upgrade. And that's that. But other than that, pick him up and get him so you're not having to pay the aftermarket price for him. You know, it's up to you about the Generations version, and I'm sorry that I'm not paying $150 to $200 for the Takara Legends version. I mean, while it looks nice, it's just too much money. It's just too much, you know. This does. I'll be honest with you. Get this one. Just if you really want the car version, get this version, because this one has the correct colors. These colors are spot on, and that's all I'll say. So this is my review of Kingdom Waspinator. I'm gonna give it a question mark. It's an up to you thing, and I'm not hating on it, but it's like I said, it's just a few things where it's like, you know, it could have been better. I wish it had better plastic material, and I think that would have made this pop. You know, that's just my opinion. What is yours? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm sure I'm gonna get some flack, but that's okay. I'd rather tell the truth to you, how I feel, than a lie. So this is Super Robot Ed signing out. I'm done. If I get any new toys, I'll let you know. We'll post them and review them right here. Until then, peace.